Mecha Break is a game where you're in a giant robot trying to fight and destroy other giant robots. You could even say that you're trying to mecha break them. Thank you, I'll be here all video. I've been excited for this game ever since I took part in a playtest almost a year ago now. In fact, after that playtest, I was feeling so passionate that I decided to make and upload a video at 3 AM. Now I've since taken down the video because it was genuinely awful, but my excitement never faded. And as I was sitting there deciding if I should queue up for another game of Rivals, the news descended upon me like an angel from the heavens. We had gotten an official release date. The game would be fully releasing on July 1st, or 2nd depending on time zones. So with this upcoming release date, and me not posting a video for 7 months straight, I figured I'd give my thoughts on the versions of the game that I played so far. The parts that I liked, the parts that I loved, and some of the parts that I was indifferent to, alongside some of the changes I think should be made before the full release. So if you're interested in giant robots beating the shit out of each other, which I'd assume everybody is, like, subscribe, and let's talk about Mecha Break. For those who have never heard of it before, we'll start off with what the game actually is. You'll be piloting a giant robot called a mecha, with these robots' designs heavily inspired by various anime such as Gundam, and Gundam. Now, as soon as you get into it, you'll notice the game feels very different from other third-person shooters. The basic movement is fairly slow, with it taking a short amount of time to start, stop, and change directions. And this helps the player really feel the weight of the mech as they're playing. But in most cases, you'll want to be going a lot faster, and that's where this energy bar comes in. You use this energy to perform special maneuvers that move you a lot faster, with the main four being a dash, a jump, a sprint, and a fast fall. Your energy will begin to refill whenever you're not using it, however if you ever fully run out of energy, you won't be able to do any more special maneuvers until it refills to a certain point. Because of this, and something we'll discuss in a bit, energy management is crucial if you want to not be dog. However, your energy management will be different depending on which mech you're using, so let's talk about all the different mechs you can pilot. The previous beta only had 13 mechs, but the full release is going to have 15, and each of these mechs are completely different, with them all having their own weapons, abilities, and stats. It's pretty similar to a hero shooter. Now, going through all the mechs in detail would take quite a lot of time, and I'm also not an expert in all of them, so I'm just going to try and summarize them in one sentence. Elise Nez, spear shield gun, little bit of everything, good for beginners. Tricera, sit down, be indestructible, fire Gatling guns. Falcon, turn into a plane, go very fast, and ruin the day of whichever enemy is the squishiest. Pinaka can heal, shield, and deal damage all while playing Fortnite, the epitome of carry support. Narukami, sit down, go invisible, summon your lads, snipe. Lumine, healing and damage over time, boosting allies, disrupting enemies, can also zip around like a mosquito. You just want to piss people off. Panther, big lance, high mobility, big damage, energy management is crucial. Inferno, a lot of lasers, anyone standing in front of you. Sky Raider, turn into a plane, bomb everyone, shoot laser until next bomb. Welkin, put enemy in box, bully the shit out of them, rinse and repeat. Aquila, fly into the air, snipe, but do not touch the ground for the rest of the game. Stego, sit down, fire artillery, keep firing. Stellaris, samurai that can shoot out laser slashes and also goes invisible. Hurricane, your kit has about 15 different ways to tank, death and damage are mere suggestions. Finally, Sereneth, recon, enemy disruption, and a orbital strike. The last part of combat that we need to talk about is lock-on. If an enemy mech is in the center of your screen for long enough, you'll lock onto them, meaning that all your shots will automatically aim towards them. And this is where the other part of energy management comes in, because you can use a special maneuver such as a dash to break or delay the enemy's lock-on. You can also dodge some projectiles after they've been fired. Ultimately, this results in your movement and energy management being just as important as your aim. For some characters, it's even more important. The last thing I want to cover before I talk about some of my thoughts on the game are the game modes. There's a 6v6, a 3v3, and an extraction shooter. I'm going to start with the one I like the least. Mashmak is an extraction shooter where you'll be dropping into a fairly large map and farming NPCs for mods that will change your mech stats and brand new weapons that can be attached to your mech. There are some cool looking bosses, and I'm sure the PvP is still good because it's still Mecha Break PvP, but ultimately, extraction shooters just aren't my thing. Ace Arena's 3v3 PvP where your only goal is to kill the enemy team. You're able to switch characters whenever you die, and the maps that you're playing on are quite small. They seemingly also have quite significant events and stage hazards which players will need to play around if they want to win. While I can see this being a more fun and casual game mode, and very good if you want to practice a variety of mechs, I don't personally see it as being quite as competitive as Operation Verge, the 6v6 objective-based game mode that I would consider to be the main game mode of Mecha Break. There are 10 maps, with each map having one of 5 objectives. There's kill the enemy, move the payload, capture the thing and hold it, and capture the thing and move it to the place. You're not able to swap characters, the maps are fairly sizable, and they don't have any big stage hazards or events. Other than Misra, which had this big storm that you're targeting and made it really hard to see, and generally just sucked. I hope they removed it. Now for my personal thoughts on the game, starting with the things that I really liked. The biggest thing is the combat, or more accurately, just the gameplay as a whole. When you're playing, you genuinely feel like you're piloting a mech. The movement, the energy management, the way lock-on and weapons work, it all feels incredibly good at a base level. But the combination of all of it, it just controls exactly how I imagine a mech would control. It fulfills the mecha fantasy so well that I would have to assume that the devs of this game are giant mecha nerds. Like, I would stake money on that shit. And their mecha nerdery doesn't just end at gameplay, because it also extends to the game's customization. You're able to fairly extensively customize the appearance of both your mech and your mech's pilot. At first, I thought this was weird and honestly kind of pointless, but I was wrong. Having your pilot and seeing them getting into the mech at the beginning of every match actually really helps with getting into the world and feeling immersed. And this is further helped by you going into your hangar and seeing your mech, which holy looks super cool, your pilot's quarters, their weapon collection, and all of the places that a pilot would want to go when they're not killing people. Now, the devs have already said that they're going to be allowing other players to visit your hangar, but please, I need you to do this for me. Add guild hangars. Add hangars for your, like, the faction or guild or whatever you're calling it that you're in. I just, trust me, it'll be cool. At it. So originally, this section where I talked about the things I was worried about and things that need changing was actually going to be quite a lot longer, but after watching some of the videos and updates that the devs put out, it actually addressed some of my concerns, so I thought I'd talk about it because positive stuff is good. The first big thing was monetization. In the last beta, you started off with one striker and then I think you got one for free, but unlocking newer strikers was a pain in the But on release, there's going to be 12 of the 15 starting strikers available for free, with potentially more also being free. It was a little hard to tell because translations can be a bit weird. Either way, this is a massive improvement, and I really do hope that the devs keep not on monetization. Ideally, they put it as only a cosmetic thing, because I don't give a about that shit, and it means other people are paying for my game. I was also worried they were going to give a bit too much attention to the extraction shooter and slightly neglect the other parts of the game, but no, it seems like they want to give equal attention to all the game modes and possibly even more attention to Verge, which, good, extraction shooters are boring, f*** them. Obviously, I'm kidding, you can like what you like, but like, if I was you, I would like better things. Now, concerns and shit that needs changing. While I do have some minor worries about the game's meta and balance, such as Lumine getting outclassed by Pinaka in every single way, it is insane. That stuff has been mostly okay so far, and I've also been playing betas with balances to be expected. No, my biggest concern, and one that could actually ruin the game if it isn't addressed, bots. Now, there's been no official confirmation that there were bots in the game, but the last beta was crawling with them. As far as I can tell, bots are put into all of your games right up until you hit Grandmaster, but this was just my personal experience with my queue times and the enemy skill level. There could still be bots and I just didn't notice them. Now, the weird part is I can actually understand their reasons behind putting bots in the game. Each player would only have access to maybe 1 or 2 strikers, and you could not have more than one of a single striker on a team, meaning they needed to pad out the numbers somehow. But now the players have 12 strikers on launch, that reason is gone. Players will always have a striker they can play, so just get rid of them. Like, if you're desperate to have them, just shove them in the beginner ranks. I don't really care, but god, they were so bad, dude. Ultimately, I hope that the bots just remain in the beta and I never have to talk about them again, because their existence ultimately just makes the game feel, I guess, cheaper, and I cannot stress to you how bad their AI was. It was so dumb. But we'll find out what happens when the game fully releases, which, judging from how much I procrastinated with this video, will probably be a couple hours after it's uploaded. Personally, I just really hope that this game turns out good. The gameplay is so clean, and I have had so much fun, and it sparked an entirely new interest in mecha for me. I swear to god, I will get my friends to play Lancer. And I just really want a game that I actually like to do well, because so many of the games that I've gotten really into have died, and I'm starting to get worried that everything I love... Okay, and that's the end of the video. The editing was a little rushed because I did it in one day, but the next one should be cleaner and shouldn't take 8 months. If you did enjoy the video, like, subscribe, come watch me live. I stream on Twitch and YouTube at 9 PM UK time. I'll be streaming Mecha Break tomorrow, so you can come and see if the game has actually improved, or if they've somehow found a way to ruin everything. But for now, that's all, folks. Tune in next week.